we are on track to meet our sustainable development goals set by the UN on improving water qualities and reducing treatment costs? I mean, I shouldn't be asking this, really.
The situation is quite alarming, but I think it is possible for us to meet those targets. But then it means we need to work harder than we are doing now. So if we are all committed to the cause, we'll be able to meet it. But if
so let's break it down. Work harder, committed to the cause. Who works harder?
Every citizen of Ghana has a role to play in this one. So if we are all committed to our roles and responsibilities, we'll be able to
protect the water bodies, harvest water,
exactly,
cut back on pollution,
exactly, and all that. Then we'll be able to meet the target.
But is it
because
sure.
You know our resources available now are depleting, and are depleting because of human activities. So if we are able to stop these human activities, we could revamp our water bodies. Okay, now if it has to do with investment in infrastructure, that wouldn't be much difficult because this is just about funds. The expertise is there. But if you're able to put up the infrastructure and the resource is not available, the infrastructure becomes useless. Okay, so we'll be able to make it when we invest money into infrastructure, but then the water resource, and that should be done by us because it's human activity that we don't need to invest much. We just need one person to come out to say that it must stop, and all law enforcement agencies act this thing professionally, and that's it.
It's easy.
It's easy.
Mr. Kwate, it's easy. I mean, we've got a lot of water bodies in our country, but a lot of it we have destroyed. Mr. Stanley Marte is raising concerns with human activity. Do you think beyond human activity, there are other measures or factors which could be natural, which are plaguing our efforts to conserve these water bodies?
I think human actions and behaviors will always be there. And that's the reason why you have regulations and people put into places of responsibility to be able to address some of these issues. If you look at most of the disturbing statistics that you show on the slides, they are all effect of policy. If you want to understand the problem, you have to follow the money, and then where our interests have been as a country. You look at the water cycle, so raw water management and how we go about it. I mean, there's an institution responsible for that, Water Resources Commission. When it comes to treated water, there is an institution, Ghana Water Company Limited. I mean, all of these two might have their challenges, but then we still, when it comes to wastewater and its treatment, it is orphaned. So,
but should we make a big deal out of wastewater treatment? Really, wastewater is wastewater. If we effectively dispose of wastewater, what do we lose?
You have to understand that our world is changing. Our rate of consumption is also increasing day in, day out. If you look at the eco footprint, collectively as a society and severally as individuals, I mean, they are alarmingly very high. So we have to think about ways that we can make all of these sustainable, because this also means more and more consumption of water in the various products and lifestyles that we've chosen for ourselves. And that's where reusing of wastewater becomes very important. And it's not only for the economic benefits, but then we're also even looking at some of the potential health hazards that can come about when we discharge wastewater, untreated water into our water bodies. So it's very important, and that is why we must look at the configuration of our institutional arrangement currently to also make provision.
I like what you said, institutional arrangement and configuration. Let me stop you there. We don't have quite a lot of time. Mr. Marte, he talks about institutional arrangement, configuration. I mean, I'm an individual, and there are water challenges in my area. There are no pipelines in my area. So straight from scratch, I devised a means to harvest all the rainwater that I can collect, and I dug out 15 feet by 15 feet. Dug out pits, split it into two, reinforced, and I collect water. I mean, if I get rain, it's able to last me quite a while, I mean, without having to buy water at all. But this is an individual investment that I have made. What is your collaboration with homes and communities to ensure that there is a certain consistent pattern of arrangement to help people or encourage people to conserve water?
Okay, we are seriously working at that, and we have come up with a national policy. So it's now part of our policy for us to have rainwater harvesting facility when we are putting up every structure. Now that must be enforced by the municipal and district assemblies, because they give out permits for properties to be put up. So we are looking at that.
Okay.
For us as Ghana Water Company Limited, we can't enforce because of our mandate. So we set out the policy, and we all will have to work. And like I said initially, we all will have to be committed to the cause. So if this is your role to perform, you have to be committed to it, and make sure you do it to the latter. You understand? So those working with town and country planning, they have to do this. Those of us at Ghana Water Company Limited, we also have to be committed to our cause. And when that is done, we will be able to conserve a lot of water. When it comes to wastewater, for instance, people may assume that if you have to reuse wastewater, I mean, what volumes of water will be able to conserve? But seriously, if we are able to reuse our water, I'm sure about 20 to 30% we can conserve, and that will help us improve on our access to other areas.
You know what I heard, that there is a likelihood that Ghana might have to import water if we don't take care of the natural resources we have. I thought it was a joke. Is it a joke?
It's real. It's real. And if we really do not act, it will happen. Because if I want to narrate, if we have time, I can give you a narration from all the regions and where we have our treatment plants.
And you'll be shocked.
And you'll be shocked that if we are not very careful, this will happen in the very near future than we even envisage.
Mr. Asiedu-Dartey, what should we do right as a country to make sure we don't get there, that point where we will start importing water? I cannot imagine that we'll import water from, let's say, Burkina Faso, which is a desert.
We'll be a failed country if it's to happen. Seriously, because the water resources is available for us. And if the management alone, okay, has become so difficult for us to do, then we will be a failed country. We couldn't manage anything, including our water bodies. It's a shame.
It's a shame. Mr. Kwate, what should we do right?
I think we have to look at securing the various water sources. And I think that's the key. The challenge...
Securing means planting trees around those, like it's being done in Barikesi
and then also protecting them against human infiltration and occupation and what have you. And that will have to do with the nexus or connection between the Water Resources Commission, as we have it now, and the respective district assemblies. There need to be some working relationship and understanding about roles in how we secure our water bodies.
Right.
Because as we have it now, you have the Galamsey situation,
which is really
destroying most of the water sources, and the role of the Water Resources Commission is clear but not clear. Where it ends and where the district assembly starts. All these issues have to be cleared out.
Gentlemen, Mr. Mate and Shankwate, grateful for your time. This has been News at 10. We're grateful for those of you who tune in to listen to